So I will just skip this part here. I just want to go to the part of what is dark web. So dark web is actually a special, I will say that it's not a special, it's like a specific space in the network, the web. So, so usually when we want to actually access to the web, what you usually do is that you search in Google, right? You go to Google and you search the website that you want to go get into in. So those websites, we call that, those are labeled or indexed. So those are indexed and they are searchable by Google. But these are just like a very small portion of the web. So there is a huge portion of the web that it cannot be searched by Google. So when you want to access to this portion of the web, you have to use a special, like a software, which is called like Arion or different type of browser. So you use like a special browser, and then you can access to this kind of web, which is invisible to the public. And also the characteristics associated with these on web is that this web is kind of like anonymized. So what this anonymized is hard to track and monitor the usage within the people who is participating or acting on this webs. So it's a really good place where these kind of like illegal stuffs can be done. So you might heard about like dark web, darknet market. These kind of stuffs is actually located into that specific location of the web. So there is a blog for where people actually trade insider information. So what they do is that this is like for like stock trading purposes. They share insider information. So like employee of, let's just say, Google share their information about like Google information to this blog, and then other people actually share these informations to actually generate profit. And also there is a huge portion, huge kind of forum in the web. They actually discuss about hacking instruction. So they share like how to like hack into websites, hack into like a system or databases as well. And also there is a other part that is called parse in the dark web. So parse, what it means is that, paste. So you know what it means, like copy and paste, right? Copy and paste. So in this kind of like a blog, which is called paste, is that the hackers actually copy paste the user information credential and the password they actually obtain from their hacking activities. So they share this password with each other to utilize for further attacks. And also in some kind of like blogs, actually they trade this kind of information. So they trade this information with each other. So actually you can buy these ones and also you can sell these ones as well. So this kind of information is also traded, and there is a lot of like different products actually traded in this market. Let's just say like illegal drugs, and also other type. Also, you can hire a killer, this is like a dark web. So there is like so many things like illegal stuff, like dark stuffs actually going on in this this place. But actually what we focus here is that we focus on the informations related to the firms, and then we want to find out like the internal control weakness associated with the data actually traded in this market. Okay, so I will just go to like what we've done. So what we've done is that this is like similar to what happened to Twitter. So we wanted to actually find out, is there any kind of like a employee credential information actually traded or revealed in this dark web, darknet market? So what we do is that we search user credential, especially for the employee in this dark web. So what we do is that we identify like domains that is used for like the employee. So basically, I will give you one example. So for clients, customers, Google provides an email that has domain name as gmail.com. But for their employee, they provide a domain that is called like google.com. So if I work for Google, it'll be Arion Cheong at google.com. but as a customer, my email is arioncheong@gmail.com, right? So we identify these kind of domain addresses, like which is associated with the employee accounts. And then we see that whether if there is a password coming with these user credentials. So we identify all these informations, and then after we get her within like a firm levels. So we actually take a look on the IT tech companies associated with the layoff. So what we want to find out is that we want to find out the association between IT layoff and then after the layoff, whether if there is any kind of like a user credential informations trading or increasing after the layoff. So we want to identify is the layoff actually causing more kind of like an information disclosure in the dark web. Actually, what we found was actually shocking. So first, I thought that there would not be that much information in the dark web. So I was just thinking that there will be only like 5 or 10 employee accounts information actually traded in the dark web. So our data is just only between February to July. So I thought that there will be only like a 5 or 6. But actually what we found is that in total, we found that like 4,000 employee accounts among this like 1,000 companies. And then after we found that for one company, there was like a 2,000, almost like a 3,000 employee user credentials actually traded in the dark web. So in like an average, like for each company, there will be like a four user accounts that is actually traded in the dark web. So we found out that it's like a more prevalent than we thought. And also, we were actually mapping this one to the firm disclosure and checking whether the firm actually disclosed about this information. But we saw that like a very, just only like a very small amount of company actually disclosed about that information after the after having this like employee information trade in the dark web. So there is a huge gap between what the actually company actually understands about their like cybersecurity programs, and then after also the stakeholders actually doesn't like acknowledge about the stuff that actually happened to the company as well, right? So also we found out some kind of characteristics among these kind of exposures as well. We found out that like company after the IPO has a higher possibility to have this kind of darknet market exposure. So where this kind of employee user credential information is traded. So there's like several like explanation for that, because IPO company is more kind of preferable target to the hackers because they can get more information, right? So they will have like a more kind of like a demand about that employee credential information. So the notice like the very notable stuff about this part is that employee user credential information can be used for the other attack as well. So it can be used to get into the database of the systems, or it can also be used to actually access to other cyber IT infrastructure of the firm. So it can actually cause a sequential cybersecurity attack. So we see that like there's a lot of hacking, very shocking results that coming up from the dark web as well. And also there is a huge effect of layoff that actually hampering the internal control weakness of the firm as well. So this is my actually a brief introduction about the research that we are working on, and also a discussion about the cybersecurity assurance. So if you have any kind of questions related to cybersecurity assurances or identifying threats or internal control weakness from for cybersecurity, please let me know. Okay, thank you. Oh, Professor, I think that you're muted.
I had actually a curiosity here. You said that they identified 4,000 accounts, but did they have passwords or just account name?
Password. So basically, we pick up the information where the user emails are having with the password. So So here it's actually the sample. We actually filter out information that does not have password. So this has password, also including two-factor authentication information as well.
Wow. Yeah,
So that's this.
that's serious. If you just email miklosv@rutgers.edu, big deal. But the moment you have passwords, people can come in and hack on my name.
Yeah, this is actually.
Is there a, how do they get it?
Actually, some tabloid, they say that people sell this information because they are angry about the firm because they lay off. So this is not my own opinion. This is actually coming from the articles from the from other like well-known news journal. But what I think is that this is coming. This is actually let's just say that for me, if I want to register for Zoom, I have to use Rutgers email and I have to type in my password, right? So I use a password generator. So my password is randomly assigned. But for most of the people, they will use the same password for other different software application websites, right? So this information was hacked from the third party, and then they were exposed somewhere and gathered by these hackers. So this actually, most of this information is disclosed in something that is called paste. So it's like copy paste. So this paste blogs in the dark web is like a Amazon for the hackers. So they share these kind of like a credential information each other to use it for other sources as well. So there is a huge things going on here. But I was really surprised because we just only utilized like 4 months data, but actually we utilized more than 300,000 records in the dark web. So it's not a record, but it's a post. So one post can include like millions of different records as well. So we have like more than like 20 gigabytes of information about this stuff, but still it is very shocking about the result that we had here.
So this is a question we had from the beginning, that I had from the beginning. My question was, can we rank a company's cybersecurity quality instead of ranking them by examining their software they are using, doing penetration testing, something like that, meaning looking at their facilities? Can you rank them based on the soft information about them that you find on the web, on the dark web?
Yeah, actually, our partner that who sponsor our project here actually has a score for that, right? They have a score for actually measuring the security quality of the firm. We can do that. But I would say that cybersecurity is a very comprehensive concept or the topic. So measuring cannot be the whole picture. But we can actually measure about their mediation effort. So do they actually well describe what they're even about the cybersecurity events and what kind of stuff actually they take? So actually the good resource that we can utilize is coming from the California breach report. So California actually requires the firm that what kind of stuff are you doing due to this kind of cybersecurity breach. So we can take a look on like how well the company actually takes effort to mediate. Or we can also take a look at, one thing happens and then after the company has a like a similar incident that they had before. In this case, this is a kind of like huge like a deficiency, right? But I would say that there is some limitation about all of these approaches because if I'm a hacker, if I want to hack into some website, I think that they can make it through. So they can make it through. I think that it's not about like the effort of the firm. It might mediate some threats, but it cannot perfectly mediate the vulnerability associated with their internal control system or any stuff, because the hackers are getting new technology and they're very smart to actually get into it.
Yeah. Arion, maybe you want to tell them a little bit, just one more thing at least, a little bit about the difficulties or the methods that people that want to go into dark web and either sell something or buy something, how do they do that? I think I'm not trying to teach the students how to do it. I want to try to get them to understand the environment.
Okay, so first, I have to say that I did not learn this one by doing. I learned it by like reading some articles and learning, watching on some like videos and also looking on the legal documents about these kind of cases. So the best cases that actually describe all these kind of like trading activities is called the case of the Silk Road. Silk Road was the biggest forum ever. Actually, was commercializing the dark web. So it was a huge community. Actually, the big portion of the things that were actually traded in this market was drugs, and then after guns, unlicensed like guns as well. So these kind of stuffs were actually traded in the dark web, and also there's like different information as well. So when you go to dark web, you can also find that people selling credit reports. And how do they actually advertise is that they say that they show the credit score for Donald Trump, President Trump, and also they show the credit score for Kim Kardashian. So they give you this kind of samples about this information. So I saw that Donald Trump's President Trump's credit score was now really high. So they just give you some sample. And then or it's like for drugs, they give you some like a picture, the image of the products. And what they do is that they ask you to send, so they ask you to send half of the price of the product to their Bitcoin account or like a cryptocurrency account before they receive the final product. So if I want to buy something, first, I ask them a sample. It can be a sample image, like an image of a drug or image of some portion of a data that I want to buy. And then after I pay, if I want to buy it, I pay like 50% of the price of what's suggested by the seller. I pay it by cryptocurrency, most of the cases, and then I receive the final product and pay the other 50%. This is for not physical goods. This is for like some kind of like a digital goods. For physical goods, what they do is that they actually tell you the location where they're gonna drop the stuffs, and then what you do is that you also pay it by cryptocurrencies. So they always have this like a delivery guy actually in the middle deliver the stuffs to the other people in a random like locations. So this kind of like a tactic is usually used for drugs. For digital goods, but it's very simple. You pay half, you get the product, and you pay back half. So I heard that a lot of people are actually, some people like might say that they won't actually pay the half, right? But I heard that a lot of people in this area about this business, they are afraid that the other, if you don't pay the half, you'll get attacked. I heard that there is an association among these sellers where they protect each other. So if you have a bad customer, they actually act together to attack that one. And then,
so they have a credit bureau, they have the bad debtor hacker bureau.
Is a forum. So they have a forum of these hackers, and they gather together. It's like a union, right? It's like a union, and they share this kind of information together as well. So I also saw one post related to that part. It's pretty like similar to our like customer review. Yeah, actually, it's very, very interesting to actually watch those stuff.
And all the payments are in cyber currency, typically Bitcoin, but they can be traced, can't they? Meaning you, at the end, there is some dollars that have to go into the cyber account.
sometimes they have their own Bitcoin. They have their own cryptocurrency. So especially for the pest, these kind of pest forums, they have their own cryptocurrency. So they actually pay with their own cryptocurrency. The reason that why they use their own cryptocurrency is that if they use this Bitcoin or other well-known public cryptocurrencies, in this case, they can be also traced by the regulators as well. So that is why we call this space pseudo-anonymized. So that's why they prefer to have their own cryptocurrency as well.
And the government is pretty incompetent on tracking this down, correct?
Yes, because somehow you have to exchange it as a cash, right? Or you have to somehow actually get it through it. So they are afraid with that, so they are generating their own methodology, currency to actually trade it. I did not saw yet the activity where they actually trade data. So I send you one data and get you data from your side. I did not saw that activity yet, but I also assume that somehow there might be. But this is not the big picture. So this is not the big picture, the whole picture of the cybersecurity threat, because as Stanley mentioned, a huge portion of these stuff is also sabotage. So the national level kind of attacks. I would say that this is also a huge actor, the biggest actor in this environment. In this case, those information is not going to be traded in dark web. It's going to be stored in a an archive, which is very secure as well. But just for your own interest, based on our own data, the most language used in this dark web space, the first one is English, definitely, and the second one is Russian. And also, I was really proud because I'm Korean. I saw that Korean language also ranked 20. So I was pretty, wow, this means that a lot of people are skilled in this environment in Korea. Yeah, so that was also, so I can also, yeah, I hope that I can put that graph here, but yeah, that is a different language that is used in this dark web as well.
So, guys, any question for Arion? Please don't be shy. This is so fascinating, and this is part of our lives. This is not something that is going to disappear.
Hackers seem very knowledgeable of what they are doing and things like that. Except for the ethics, it would be interesting to hire a hacker to, give us see how the security is doing on the company, because I don't think a manager is aware of how secure is the company, how compliant it is, except for what in theory they tell us. But the traditional manager, I don't think it's that much into, security. Before we were back in, you lock things in the vault and all those procedures, but now you can have all the money, all the cash in the vault, and in a bank they can steal you just with two keyboard strikes, a couple of keyboard strikes, and they can steal millions rather than just a couple of hundreds that you have in the vault. So are we having something like learning from hackers, or how is it going?
Actually, a lot of company hires what we call ethical hacker or white hacker or red hacker. So these are all the types of the hacker. Hacker is not a really negative word, because it means that hacker means a person who has a knowledge, knowledge about these kind of skills about the system itself, right? So people, there is two types of hackers who actually helps the organizations, the people, to have a better cybersecurity, which also acknowledge about their internal control weakness. So a lot of people actually work in this domain as well. So people hire these people to actually try to hack into their system, and then see how these kind of things are going on. But I also want to suggest that to actually hack into the system, you don't need to have a really, really sophisticated knowledge. So when you actually search something called social engineering on YouTube, there is a bunch of videos showing example of social engineering. So it's like this. I called to Verizon, and I say that, oh, hello, my name is Miklos Vasarhelyi. So blah blah blah. I live in Europe. And then after I asked them, oh yeah, but I forgot my password. Can you actually send me a reset email to my address? Oh, I got a new email, MikolosV. Let's just say that Verizon.com. Can you send me that link to that email? Yeah, then I can actually reset all the stuff, right? And then can access to Professor Miklos' account. Actually, there's a video that's showing that they're using the same tactic. So everything is here. Everything can be related to cybersecurity risk. I know that it's really complicated as well. And also companies actually hire these people to check this one. So not only people to hack in their system, they also, what they do is that they check their internal control systems like this. So there is a very interesting paper, one of our good friend, whose name is Professor Jinmu Lee. Actually, what their team had done is that they sent out an email with a tracker to a lot of organizations in East Asian companies. And then if someone actually opened that email, they follow up an email that we are doing research, blah, blah, blah. You opened the email with a tracker, and we want to get a response about some kind of cybersecurity questions. And most of the cases, what they found is that people actually open the email, even they don't know about who actually sent that email. So these kind of stuff is done by not only by the company as well, about the research group, other organizations, to see that how well the organizations are doing well with their cybersecurity policies.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting. You know, it happened to me just a few years ago. I got an email sent from PayPal saying that there had been activity in my account. So I went in. I knew about phishing. It is not that I was ignorant about phishing, but this email was like, there was this unusual activity in your account. We just want you to confirm. And I went into the page. I couldn't remember the password. Well, the password wasn't working. And I couldn't, and then it asked me for my identification, you know, the zip code, where did you open the account and all of that. And I was typing that in, and I didn't remember which country I was when I opened the account. And that stopped me from going farther. I just couldn't, you know. I called my son, say, hey, they're emailing me from PayPal. Could you call them? You're in the States. Call them right now because, you know, somebody has used my account. And it was phishing. It was phishing. PayPal didn't have any activity. You know, it was scary that I fell into it.
Happened a lot. Actually, it happened also to me a lot. You know, in Korea, there is a lot of cases like this because North Korea is also doing a lot of job like this. They have actually like a troop actually working on this part as well. So usually the tactic is like this: they call the victim, and then they say that I kidnap your son or daughter, and they actually turn on a sound that where actually the kid actually cries, and like make the victims to be very afraid what happening there, right? And then they ask them, if you want your son to be alive, please send them email, like send money to this account. And one time I was at home and my mom got this call, and actually she was so like I don't know why, but actually she was so kind of like as astounded because she thought that I was kidnapped, but I was in the living room. And she was like, oh my God, what should I do? What should I do? And then she came out, and then she saw that like I was in my living room. So this happens a lot everywhere. And this is called like what we call like social engineering or like a phishing attacks, right? So a lot of things are going on here. But one thing that makes me concerned is that because of this, we are more relying on IT infrastructures, right? We're more relying on IT devices and infrastructures, but these attacks are getting more sophisticated. So my worry is that it's like coronavirus, right? Nobody now expects that coronavirus will disappear one day. Right? Cybersecurity is also the same, I think so. We have to live with this one. We have to live with this cybersecurity. If you want to rely on more IT devices. I think also like people have to more acknowledge about these stuffs. And actually, a lot of people say that when actually I also saw that the previous presenter talking about VPN and like anti-malware software. Actually, people always like heard that these stuff is good for your cybersecurity. But most of the cases, actually, people will just ignore that kind of like advice and say that I don't need that. But one day, if you get hacked and if your information get revealed by the hacker, in that case, it's gonna be a huge disaster, right? So having a VPN services will only cost you like $100 per year, or malware software is like only $20 per like 2 years or 3 years. So you can make like a small investment to get the minimum amount of cybersecurity that you can protect your information. I think that is very crucial for us as well.